First off, the right to keep and bear arms, you shouldn't have to have permission from the government to do so. You already have that in the state as well as the federal constitution. But there are some advantages to having your license to carry. One of them is reciprocity with other states. Currently, we have reciprocity with around 30-some states. There is no 50-state-wide federal reciprocity agreement. Fingers crossed that happens soon. But currently, if you want to carry in other states lawfully, legally, you have to have reciprocity agreements to do so. And Texas does give you a reciprocity agreement, while constitutional carry does not. Federal gun-free zones. So currently under Texas law, when you're dropping your kids off at school, and if you happen to have a gun in your car while doing so, technically you're breaking the law. Under license to carry, you're not breaking the law. So there's an advantage right there. Bypass the NICS background check. Every time you purchase a firearm from an FFL dealer, we are required under federal as well as state law to run a background check on you. That's done pretty quickly and efficiently by the federal NICS system. That's a pretty fast process. Usually it only takes about 10-15 minutes at max, unless there's some sort of major pandemic like the summer of 2020, when everyone was purchasing firearms. There was doors outside of every gun store in this country. ATF put an automatic delay on everyone that was purchasing a firearm. If I remember right, it was like 45-day delay, even if there was a necessity for a gun that day. The only people that were able to purchase a gun that day and walk out that day were those that had the Texas license to carry. Because the license to carry is a much more thorough background check than the NICS system is, it bypasses the NICS system. All we do as dealers is go on the state's website, verify your LTC is actually valid and current, and you get to walk out that day. So if you have a common similar last name, or you have a background clearance through the military, or you're involved in law enforcement, generally there's a delay that goes with purchasing that firearm. That LTC means you're automatically going to be able to walk out that day with that firearm. Carry on to a military installation. Now this is an interesting one. So War Department has put out some guidance that says you have to be allowed to carry on to a military installation. Your chain of command has to have a good reason not to. But Joint Base San Antonio has put out some guidance about 2 years ago that said as long as you go through your chain of command channels and you had a Texas license to carry, you're allowed to do so. So that's kind of a hurry up and wait on that one, on how that's going to come to fruition, if LTC is going to be required. Hopefully it doesn't, but that's what currently the Texas law does allow. It depends on which unit you're assigned to, whether it be outside of San Antonio or not. School district employee. If you work for a school district and you want to lawfully keep your gun in the car in the school district employee parking lot area, you have to have a license to carry to do so. Your the constitutional carry does not allow open governmental meetings. So some cities, counties, entities automatically prevent you from carrying there unless you have a license to carry. If they do have some proper signage, they can prevent it. But under constitutional carry, you're not allowed to carry into governmental meetings, even if they're open to the public. Campus carry at state-sponsored schools or universities. That's a big one. So if you're a student at a school or university here in the state of Texas, and when I say school, it's a college-level school, and you want to lawfully carry that gun, you have to have a license to carry to do so. Constitutional carry does not apply. The gun must be concealed. You can carry anywhere on campus. That is not restricted. Different schools, universities here in the state of Texas can restrict certain areas, but they cannot restrict the classroom from license to carry from doing so. More education on the Texas Penal Code. So when under constitutional carry, you kind of get to know what you know. You can do some Googling, and which there's nothing wrong with, but that license to carry at least ensures you've been through some sort of formalized training on the Texas Penal Code, which is not a bad thing. And one of the biggest advantages to having the license to carry that constitutional carry does not afford is interaction with Texas peace officers. Peace officers assume because you're in the state of Texas that everyone's got guns. The nice thing about the license to carry, it's a card-carrying good guy status to law enforcement officers because of the background check that is associated with that license to carry. I'm not saying it'll guarantee you out of a speeding ticket, but it certainly does help. So those are some of the advantages of the license to carry over constitutional carry.